Section 1.4, Applications of Quadratic Equations. So in this section, we're just going to be doing some word problems involving quadratic equations. And so these actually turn out to be easier than word problems involving linear equations. So let's do on page 125, problem number 7. So solve each problem. So this is a geometric problem. The side of a square is 4 centimeters shorter than the side of a second square. If the sum of their areas is 106 square centimeters, find the length of one side of the larger square. Okay, so just remember the area of a square is just the length of the side squared. And so I have the length of one square is 4 centimeters less than the length of it. Okay. So each of these will be in centimeters. And so the total area, well, the area of the smaller square plus the area of the larger square should equal a total of 106. And so let's just use the special product formula. And so by the special product formula, the perfect square trinomial formula, I have that x squared minus 8x plus 16 plus, well, our second term, x squared is equal to 106. Let's combine like terms. So I have here a 2x squared minus 8x plus 116 is 106. Subtract 106 from both sides of my equation. So 2x squared minus 8x minus minus 90 is equal to 0. Divide both sides of my equation by 2. So I get x squared minus 4x minus 45 is 0. Let's factor. Well, this is a trinomial, a monic quadratic trinomial. So I can factor this as x minus. So I drop down the minus times minus is plus. I want two whole numbers whose product is 45, whose difference is 4, 9, and 5, and put the larger factor first. So let's solve this. Let me get a little bit more room here. And so let's set each factor to 0 and solve for x. Add 9 to both sides of my equation. Subtract 5 from both sides of my equation. Well, I can't have a negative length since these are this x here is the length of the side of a square. I can't have that is negative. So actually, let me pull this down one more. And so the length of one side of the square will be 9 centimeters. And that's your answer. Let me pull it over. I guess maybe I should have pulled it over. Okay, so there it is. So that's your answer. Problem number 12. Making gutters. A piece of sheet metal, so you have originally a piece of sheet metal that's 18 inches wide, is bent to form a gutter, as shown in illustration. Okay. If the cross-sectional area is 36 square inches, find the depth of the gutter. So you want here that this area here is well 36, and so the area of a square of a rectangle, this is a rectangle at this end, is just length times width, and so I have that x times 18 minus 2x is equal to 36. Let me multiply an x inside the parentheses. Of 18x minus 2x squared equals 36. Just multiplying the x inside the parentheses. So now let's add 2x squared to both sides of my equation. Subtract 18x from both sides of my equation. So now I can just divide both sides of my equation by 2. And so I get x squared minus 9x plus 18 is 0. I can factor this. This is a monic quadratic trinomial, so I should be able to easily factor this. So this is just x, x. Drop down the minus, times plus is minus. So in this case, I want two whole numbers whose product is 18 and whose difference, whose sum is 9. So 6 and 3. And let me put the larger factor, the factor with larger absolute value first. Let me bring this down. Okay, so let me set each factor equal to 0. So by the 0 factor property, I have that x, oops, 1 second. Okay, so let me get back. Okay, so I have, let's set each factor equal to 0 and solve for x. Let's add 6 to both sides of my equation. Let's add 3 to both sides of my equation. Okay. And so, let me actually need one more line. So let me pull this down. So I have that, well, oh, let me just see, well, what is a depth? Okay. So either find the depth of the gutter. Well, you could have, actually 6 would work. It could be a 6 by 6 by 6, or you could have a 3 by 12 by 6, by 3. So you could either have either one of those, and those seem to work. And so there's two possibilities. Either the depth is 6 inches, well, let's say 3 inches, or 6 inches. And those are two possible answers for this particular problem. Let me do problem number 40, cleaning the garage. Working together, Sarah and Heidi can clean the garage in 2 hours. If they work alone, it takes Heidi 3 hours longer than it takes Sarah. How long will it take Heidi to clean the garage alone? Okay, so let's do that. So let's say that it takes Heidi X hours. And then, since it takes Heidi 3 hours longer than it takes Sarah, then Sarah is at X minus 3 hours to do the whole load and to clean the whole garage. So Heidi can clean 1 over X of it per hour. And Sarah can clean 1 over X minus 3 of it in an hour. And together, they can clean it in 2 hours, so they can clean half of it per hour. So let me solve this. Let me get rid of the denominators. So let me multiply both sides of my equation by 2x times x minus 3. The x's cancel, so I get 2 times x minus 3. The x minus 3's cancel, so you get 2x. The 2's cancel, so you get x times x minus 3. Multiply the 2, x, inside the parentheses. So you get 2x minus 6 plus 2x is equal to x squared minus 3x. So combine like terms, so I get 4x minus 6 equals x squared minus 3x. Let me subtract 4x from both sides of my equation, add 6 to both sides of my equation. And so, let's factor this. This factors into x and so this is a monoquadratic trinomial. Let's bring down the minus times plus is minus. I want 2 whole numbers whose product is 6 and whose sum is 7. So 6 and 1. So by the zero factor property, I have that x minus 6 is 0 or x minus 1 is 0. Add 6 to both sides of your equation. So x is equal to 6. Add 1 to both sides of your equation. So x is equal to 1. Now, if x is 1, well, 1 minus 3 is a negative 2. And you really can't say that, Heidi cleans this. Was it Heidi? No. How long will Heidi? Sarah, that Sarah cleans it in negative 2 hours. So that's that's not a valid answer. So let me get rid of that. That's extraneous. And so it takes 6 hours. So it takes Heidi 6 hours. And that is your answer. Let me just check it was Heidi, right? How long will it take Heidi? Yeah, so it'll take Heidi 6 hours. And so that's it for today. And I guess Let me stop my recording.